let's talk about why Harry connects and why the palace can't replicate it. So, the royal family is now being advised, begged to be honest, to follow Prince Harry's approach if they want to reach young people. And let's pause right there because the irony is delicious. Harry left, he stepped down, he walked away from the system, he was mocked for it, and they then tried to destroy him. And now he's become the blueprint. A former royal butler is out there saying the quiet part out loud. If the monarchy wants to survive, it needs to act more like Harry. So, what he's trying to say is that the monarchy needs to be more relatable, more human, more connected, more accessible, more emotionally literate. In fact, more like an influencer, which tells you everything you need to know about where culture is going and where the palace is stuck. Because if we break it down, the layers are wild. So I'm going to try and do my best to break things down. So, number one, Gen Z and younger people, and even generations like myself, we don't do hierarchy anymore. And that terrifies the monarchy. You cannot impress people by standing on a balcony. And young people do not care about bloodlines. They care about authenticity, vulnerability, transparency, relatability, lived experience, and honesty. This is a generation raised on creators who vlog from their bedrooms. And a crown or shiny tiaras do not sway them. A real story of depth and authenticity does. And Harry has a real story. He talks openly about trauma, mental health, grief, growing up in the public eye, therapy, family dysfunction, and healing. He's lived a life that most young people recognize, not because of his privilege, but because of the pain. And the monarchy, it still thinks that relatability looks like a carefully staged photo op of someone holding a rake at a charity garden. Number two, Harry can connect because he left the institution. That's the part that the article that I read about this butler urging the monarchy to act more like Harry, that's the part that the article avoids. Harry has left a toxic environment, and you therefore cannot be relatable when you don't show emotion in public, you can't speak freely, your personality is PR managed, your authentic moments are scheduled. So, for example, we know the other brother had a chat with a woman who lost, I believe, her husband or son. Correct me if I'm wrong. And tears formed in his eyes, and everyone thought, relatable, etc. Except it was all staged, because that wasn't the first time he'd heard the story. But unfortunately, he staged his emotions. I mean, who does that? And as soon as people knew, it just turned them off. So Harry's relatability makes sense to a lot of people, and it comes from the fact that he made the choice that the monarchy doesn't allow. He chose himself, and many young people understand that. They admire it, they get inspired by it. They don't want to follow a brand, they want to follow a human being. And Harry became human once he left a toxic, dysfunctional environment. Number three, getting with Meghan, I believe, amplified getting with Meghan, I believe, amplified Harry's relatability. What do I mean? So Harry was definitely popular before he got with Meghan, but his brand was still royal adjacent. However, when he got with Meghan, they both became a global story of growth. And she accelerated his evolution because He displayed emotional honesty, his activism, his self-awareness, his boundary setting, his advocacy, and his understanding for a change of systemic issues. And together they built a platform that was rooted not in hierarchy, but in humanity. That's why young people connect, because they see a couple building a life of purpose and not protocol. Number 4, the palace wants Harry's results without Harry's willingness to evolve. So they want the results that Harry and Meghan get, but they don't want to evolve. And you can't have one without the other. So the butler is basically saying that the monarchy needs to become modern celebrities. And here's the truth. You cannot sprinkle relatability on a centuries-old hierarchy and expect magic. You cannot run a brand rooted in mystique while trying to appeal to people who crave vulnerability. You cannot connect with Gen Z while refusing to speak in your own voice. And you cannot adopt Harry's approach and at the same time punish him for it. It doesn't work. So Harry doesn't play relatable. He became relatable. He became relatable through growth, through vulnerability, and through leaving an outdated institution. The palace wants the aesthetic without the evolution, and that's not going to happen. And lastly, Harry is the blueprint because he represents what the monarchy fears the most: choice, autonomy, authenticity, decentralized power, narrative control, emotional intelligence. He is everything the monarchy cannot be, and that's why he thrives. And this is the kicker. The royal family is now being urged to imitate the very person they are trying so hard to discredit. The symbolism, to me, is very poetic. The monarchy doesn't inspire the future, not the way it is currently. It needs to borrow inspiration from the very son that it drove out. And that right there tells you more about the state of the institution than any official statement ever could. But anyway, let me know what you think. Comments, please. Comments, please. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of the Luxpreneur. And for more insights like these, please like, share, comment, and follow me.